Welcome back to Mrs. Tips. I put a little teaser out on Facebook and Instagram last week about how much my eggs and spinach and sauerkraut and sourdough bread breakfast costs. And I was also thinking I've had so many good comments on it before since I started eating this as my basically daily breakfast for the last 7 months since December, that I thought I would show just how quick and easy it is to make it and also what the cost is per serving. So we just got our awesome gas stove and we got this griddle. So I heat that up, and while I'm waiting for that to heat up, this is a local company called Abigail's Oven, but you can actually order it anywhere in the US and they will ship it to you. It is amazing sourdough bread. It is made with a natural yeast, so it has more of the good probiotics in it than a commercial sourdough yeast does, because it is made with wild yeast. And I just do one slice of bread.
Mom?
And we've got kids doing chores, so they'll be coming in. What?
Well, it's supposed to... Did you tell Grandma that Kathy's kitchen needs to be out of...
Yeah, toys need to be in the playroom.
Wait, in the kitchen.
Why? What do you do with it in there?
Nothing.
Okay, you can leave your kitchen, but everything else needs to go in the playroom.
Yeah.
So I use a natural yeast, and then this is Kerrygold butter, and I use this because it is grass-fed butter, and it has a higher vitamin K2 count to it. But K1 is in all of our leafy greens, but K2 is only found in animal products or natto. It's a Japanese fermented soybean condiment. So I use K2 is important because that's what makes sure the calcium gets to your bones and doesn't get distributed in your arteries, like calcified arteries, right? So I don't do this for my baking or stuff for the kids. It's just me for now. So I butter it, and then we've got an awesome toaster oven, and I just get it going because it takes a while sometimes. So. And I already buttered my pan, my skillet, I mean. My sister just informed me that I haven't been using pepper normally, but my sister just informed me just a little bit of black pepper helps your body also absorb more of the nutrients. So now I'm adding pepper, which is good because I've always had all this pepper and never anything to use it on. I don't normally pepper my food. So I'm going to break down this real quick. This country loaf from Abigail's Oven is about $7.50 a loaf, and I get about 15 slices in here. So per slice, the bread ends up being 50 cents a slice. It would be a lot cheaper if I was making my own, and I have made my own natural yeast bread before, but school and I'm not there yet, so I just buy it every week, and it takes me a week or two to go through that, and I leave it in the fridge because if you don't, it will grow yeast or mold really fast because it has no preservatives in it. Then the eggs, those are cheap. They end up being, since I do 2 eggs, that's 16 cents right here. I'm not even gonna give a price on the black pepper because it's so minimal and black pepper's pretty cheap. So then I start this skillet, and I'm gonna cook my spinach in here, and I use about this much of butter, maybe about a tablespoon or half, I don't know. If you are vegan or you have a milk protein sensitivity, you could use something else if you're vegan. I don't know, whatever oil cooks best in cast skillet or whatever you want to cook it in. Yeah, use a different oil if you're vegan or vegetarian. And if you have a milk sensitivity, you could probably use ghee, which is a shelf-stable clarified butter. So they basically melt butter and then separate it from the protein. I just got this at Sprouts. So. But I don't have a casein sensitivity. But I figured my butter, how much butter I use, it's about 18 cents. So right now we're at like 18, and 16 is not that much. I can't add in my head like Mark can. And then I'm doing, this is 4 cups of spinach, or maybe 5, I don't know, raw spinach. I just buy a big bag of it at Costco, so it's $4.79 for 13 servings. So that ends up being, what did I decide that was? 37 cents a serving, so 74 cents for 2 servings. And I just put it in here and saute it. This is looking done, so I turn it off because I like mine sunny side up. And I cook this until it starts to get soft and wilted. So the thing about spinach, well, and you might wonder why I'm using cast iron. It's because cast iron, when you cook your food on cast iron, you actually get some more iron. So it helps increase your iron. And spinach. Let me talk about spinach. So spinach is a high iron food, but if you had 1 cup of raw spinach, you only get like 0.8 milligrams of iron. But if you had 1 cup of cooked spinach, that's like 6.5 milligrams of iron. And this is probably not quite 6.5 because it's only about 4.5 cups of raw, but it'll probably be about a cooked raw. Sorry, it'll be about 1 cup of spinach when it's cooked. And I decided to do this because I really don't get enough, I wasn't getting enough fruits and vegetables in my diet. And when I tried, and I knew I liked cooked collards and chard, so I figured I would like spinach also. So I started doing this with my eggs. Give me some more iron. It's low carb. It helps fill me up. I'm getting like 4 cups of vegetables just in this every day in the morning to start my day off with some leafy greens. So that's pretty much done. So I'll turn that off. So my eggs are done, and my spinach. And then my toast is still going, but and I'll use my sauerkraut. So the thing about spinach is, oh, and it's a good source of calcium too. So spinach, it does better if you eat it with something that has vitamin C in it. So some good vitamin C options are oranges, orange juice, grapefruit, strawberries. Those are in the fruit category. And vegetables, it's suggested you could eat it with broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, tomatoes, tomato juice, potatoes, and green and red peppers. So I just do 1 tablespoon. This is 2 ounces of sauerkraut. And there's been some studies done recently where they sent off and tested home fermented sauerkraut. And this is wild brine. And so this is, again, I could make my own sauerkraut, but I just don't have time. So I buy it. And I buy this size at Costco. And so it ends up being 17 cents a serving because it's about $7.99 for 47 servings. You can buy the smaller containers like at your health food stores like Sprouts or Good Earth or wherever they sell them. I'm thinking of stores here in Utah. And they're about $8 for 16 ounces, 8 ounces. So it ends up being 55 cents an ounce if you buy this in the smaller containers. So, and the benefit about that, you get more variety of fermented vegetables, whether it's kimchi or sauerkraut or different varieties of sauerkraut. And at Costco, they only sell this basic sauerkraut, but I haven't gotten sick of it. So I put it on, and that's like what my salt is, because the brine in sauerkraut is salt and water. So that's what salts my food. And then my toast is done. So for this whole meal, because I get a lot of my stuff at Costco, the spinach and the sauerkraut, it ends up being $1.75 for this whole plate. The most expensive is the bread. That's like 50 cents. So if I didn't have the bread, that would be $1.25. And I've been eating this every day since September. It took me a while to figure out the combination I like, but I'd gotten positive on my glucose test for pregnant gestational diabetes. And that kind of scared me because my mom and my brother and my sister have all gotten type 2 diabetes diagnosis. I have aunts and uncles and my grandpa and lots of his siblings and double cousins. And so I knew I was at a risk being in my 30s and having type 2 diabetes in my history and having all these large babies. So I started changing my diet, and then I did the 3-hour test and I passed that one. But I kept eating this because I would eat my cold cereal in the morning and then my mouth would just taste sugary all day. Like I could just taste it all day, and I just hated it. Just made me feel, I realized it made me feel gross. So when I eat this, I actually do a lot better. I noticed I was having lactose intolerance when I was just eating milk first thing in the morning. And if I eat the sauerkraut and the sourdough bread, I can drink milk later on in the day and it doesn't hurt my stomach. So for me, this is what I found. And I've been doing this for now 7 months, and I've realized a lot of like diets and things, they want you to change everything all at once. And I don't think that's sustainable. I think it's better to choose one meal that you can change and just work on that meal and get consistent on that. And now that I've been doing this for 7 months, I've been working on changing my lunch. So I eat more vegetables at my lunch and just choosing one thing and doing that. And it really is not that expensive. I mean, $1 if you were just to do this, and this is, I eat this a lot too. I only started adding the bread a couple months ago because I really like sourdough toast. So it's actually not that expensive, $1.25 for breakfast. That's cheaper than some protein shakes. So anyway, this obviously is not going to work if you're vegan because you're not going to eat eggs. But for anyone else who is not vegan, this will probably be a great breakfast. So I'm glad I could share that with you. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I will share more of my dietary changes and things that I've done to just be healthier, and pricing of it, and how it's really not that expensive to eat healthy. So we'll see you next time. And if you have a great healthy breakfast that you like to make, then please share that in the comments, and we'll talk to you next time.